Last couple slides here. Looking at Baron de Montesquieu, he's going to agree with John Locke. He's going to agree that the government should protect individual liberties. He believes that too much power will lead to tyranny. And he believed in this idea of separation of powers, dividing power among three branches of government. What are our three branches of government?
Legislative, executive, judicial.
All right, very good. They're right here on the board. All right, legislative branch, those are the ones who make the laws. All right, that is like the House and the Senate, that group of people there. The executive branch, they carry out the laws, enforce the laws. That's the president all the way down to like local law enforcement, sheriff's office, police department, those sort of things. Judicial branch, they evaluate the laws. Right, that's the Supreme Court all the way down through all those court systems. Right, they're evaluating the laws, determining the guilt and how the laws are viewed. Right, separation of powers. If you don't understand this idea, think about these three branches of government as just a giant game of rock, paper, scissors. Right, I've got rock, paper, scissors. Right, no one branch can win rock, paper, scissors. Right? Paper always beats rock. Right? This branch always beats this branch. This branch always beats this branch. Right? It's just a giant game of rock, paper, scissors. That's separation of powers. Montesquieu's model of government also included checks and balances. Right? This is limiting the power of what other branches can and cannot do. Again, just kind of goes along with that idea of rock, paper, scissors. The president cannot become all-powerful, right? Yes, he does have control over one branch of the government, right? But the other branch, right, is the paper to his rock. Right, a Swiss philosopher here, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He believes in individual freedoms. Right, he believes that people are naturally good, right? That we're not naturally selfish, not naturally power hungry. He believes that those ideas, right, are things that corrupt people over time. Right, basically, we're born, we're infants, we're toddlers, right? During that early age, right, we are naturally good. Right? It's outside influence and other people and other ideas that corrupt us as we grow older. Right? He believes that people form a social contract and government is based on a common good. Right? If we were just one big government in this room, right? If we were not allowed to leave this room forever, right? We would do things that benefits the common good of all of us. Right? We wouldn't make a decision that harms most of us. We're going to pick the common good. As a result, Rousseau is going to be one of the people that argue for a direct democracy, right? The Athenians in Greece, right? That's the first time we talked about democracy in here, right? With Athens, right? They had a direct democracy, right? The general majority of the citizens is what that civilization is going to do, right? The United States has a form of democracy. It is not direct. Right, we have a democratic republic. Right, we elect our leaders, and then they're the ones who make the decisions for us. All right. Then we have Beccaria here criticizes abuses in the justice system. Right, the things that he was upset with, right? These are things like the use of torture, right? Secret trials, severe punishments for crimes, right? If you steal a loaf of bread and you get caught, right? And the punishment for that is to have both of your hands chopped off. Is that a little severe? Probably. All right, here's a picture here when we talked about the Inquisition. We've seen that photo before, I think. right? The Inquisition, right? That group from the Catholic Church going around making sure people are following the Catholic Church's teachings, right? Torturing them, having secret trials, right? Severe punishments for their crimes, things like that, right? These are things that he felt like the justice system needed reforms and needed changes to deal with. Argued that people, right, should be given a fair and speedy trial, and that capital punishment and torture should be abolished or done with. What is capital punishment? That is execution. Execution, right? The death penalty, right? He believed that that should be abolished or done away with, right? Should not be a thing. Right? Torture as well. All right. Speaking of capital punishment here, this is the last slide. Do you think capital punishment is an acceptable form of punishment for crimes? What do you think? Not for all of them. Okay, so what's an example of something that it might be acceptable for?
Like a murder?
Like a murder. Okay. Maggie, you got something else?
Homicide.
Homicide, killing somebody. All right. If you kill one person, death penalty?
Yeah.
Yes?
No.
No?
If it was,
Like a life sentence.
if it was,
Life sentence.
If it was on purpose. Maybe.
If it was on purpose.
If it was an accident.
Okay. If it was an accident, maybe. What if I'm driving through?
It depends on how you kill them.
Depends on how you kill them. That's what I was about to say. Right? What if I'm driving, right? And I'm driving along, right? And I get a text message and I look at my phone and I go flying through a red light on accident, right? Because I made a bad choice, right? And I kill the car, or kill the person in the car that I hit. Death penalty?
Wait, you're not supposed to be looking at your phone.
I'm not. That was a bad choice, right? It's definitely my fault, right? But death penalty
No.
for that? No. What if there's 7 people in that car that I killed?
Yeah.
Oh, so now there's a number that,
No.
is it 3 people? 4 people?
Longer
A longer time?
Like longer sentence.
2 life sentences? I gotta die twice in there?
Just
I
do
just
a
think
longer
it's a life
sentence.
sentence.
I think a good
I know,
Because then that gets too complicated.
One time I ran my friend to this lady was driving on the park thing,
Uh-huh.
you know, and she like acted like we did her like put her finger in front of the car and everything. So I think they should figure out.
I feel like it's too complicated if we do 2 different things. Because it's like,
Like,
if you're doing a death sentence for malice to certain people, why don't you just pick one or the other?
Right? It is complicated.
They're going to take away the life sentence.
So capital punishment is pretty much gone now, for the most part. Right? Pretty much gone. There are some instances, right? You get the last class, y'all didn't bring it up, but last class brought up like serial killers, right? Or like rapists. Even that's a slippery slope, right? But anyway, again, another opinionated question. He believed that there should be no capital punishment, no execution, right? No crime, right, is deserved, right, of a death penalty. All right, so that is the end of the notes. We've got the bell here in just a few minutes, so that's all we're going to do today. We'll have an assignment tomorrow to start class related to this.